Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something really fundamental. It's that internal script that runs in your head the moment you hit a wall. You're staring at a technical problem, or maybe a sales lead has gone cold, or you've hit a fitness plateau. Your brain it defaults to one specific question.
Exactly.
And so we're diving into a framework that's designed to completely, reset that default. Our mission here is to show you why that one question you ask yourself is probably the very thing that's holding you back from any real breakthrough.
And this whole philosophy, it really hinges on a pretty contrarian idea. The source material puts it perfectly. The biggest lie we were ever told in school is that you must do your own homework.
I love that. I really do. Because in a classroom, if you looked at your neighbor's paper, that was cheating. It meant you failed.
But in the real world, the world of business, of actually building things, looking at your neighbor's paper, or even better, paying them to do it for you, that's called collaboration. That's leverage. And leverage really is the only way you build anything significant. I mean, if you just rely on your own effort, you're always limited by the hours in a day, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's get right to that limiting question. When you face a problem, the natural, the learned response is to ask, how do I solve this?
And that right there is the question that, according to all the research, keeps people stuck. It keeps them tired, busy, and always feeling like they're short on cash. The successful, the truly wealthy and happy people, they've rewired this. They don't ask how, they immediately ask who.
Okay, let's unpack that shift. Because I think, first, we really have to understand the cost of what we're calling the how trap. When you commit to asking how, you're basically signing up for a journey of struggle, of delay. You're committing yourself to learning a whole new skill, making all those beginner mistakes, and just spending hours, sometimes even years, on a learning curve someone else has already mastered.
Think about the actual cost. So you decide, okay, I need a professional website, and you ask, how? What happens next?
Oh, I know this one. YouTube tutorials.
Exactly. You're watching YouTube tutorials on coding. You spend 3 nights fighting with some software, learning syntax you'll never use again. 3 weeks later, maybe you have a sort of broken website, and you are just completely exhausted.
I have absolutely been there. I think I wasted 3 nights just last month trying to fix a WordPress plugin to save $100 on a developer. And it was definitely not, my core genius. And that phrase is key, isn't it? The sources really emphasize this idea of your core genius.
Precisely. If we define core genius as that unique spot where your highest skill, your deepest passion, and the market's need all intersect, well, everything else is just a distraction. If your core genius is selling real estate, then writing code is a non-core task. Simple as that. And when you ask how, you're spending 80% of your time on these non-core things.
But when you pivot, when you ask, who already knows how to solve this? You hire the developer, the task gets done in 3 days, it's professional, and you spent those 3 weeks closing a deal or doing what you're actually good at.
This is what we call superhero syndrome. It's this belief that you have to be the expert in everything. The marketing guru, the accountant, the operations guy, and the best at your actual craft.
Right, you have to wear every single hat. And the sources are so blunt about this. They say when you do that, you haven't built a business, you've just created a job with a really terrible, demanding boss.
And that boss is you.
Exactly. You've just created maximum friction for minimum growth.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, this who mastery formula, it's not just about delegating, it's about getting instantaneous expertise. You're leveraging someone else's 10,000 hours of mastery, like right now.
That distinction, instantaneous, is so important because shifting from how to who, it just fundamentally changes your timeline, doesn't it? The how approach is so linear. You learn, you practice, you do. It's step by step.
Whereas the who approach is exponential. You literally bypass the entire learning curve. You just plug into existing mastery and your growth it takes off. You get the benefit of their 10,000 hours without spending a single minute of your own.
And there's no better story to illustrate this than the one about Henry Ford. We pulled this straight from the sources. So Ford, the guy who basically industrialized the car, he's in a courtroom, he's being sued for libel. A newspaper had called him ignorant.
Yes, and the opposing lawyer, he thinks he has Ford completely pinned down. He wants to prove Ford is, stupid by asking him all these general knowledge questions. Things like, who was Benedict Arnold? Or random dates from history. Just trying to trip him up.
And Ford's answer is it's legendary. It's the whole who mentality in a nutshell. He doesn't even try to answer. He just points out that he has a row of electric push buttons on his desk. And if he needs an answer to any question at all, he just pushes a button and summons an expert who has it.
And then he turns it back on the lawyer. He asks, why should I clutter my mind with general knowledge when I have men around me who can supply any knowledge I require?
That is the ultimate lesson in leverage right there. Ford wasn't saying knowledge is unimportant. He was just redefining who needed to have it. His core genius was the vision, the system, the big picture, not memorizing trivia.
He didn't need to know the how of every single task. His genius was in owning the who, the people, the system, the whole structure.
Okay, it's a fantastic story, but here's where people listening might get skeptical, and we need to face this head on. That's great for Henry Ford, a millionaire industrialist. But what about the listener? The small business owner, the parent? They don't have a row of experts on call. It sounds expensive.
And that's a completely valid point. It is. The mistake is thinking that who always means a full-time, salaried employee. The power of who is universal, but you have to expand your definition of who or what the who can be.
Okay, so let's broaden the scope. How does this apply outside of, building a car company to life challenges?
Well, think about a really profound personal challenge, like saving a marriage, for instance. The source material uses that example. The how approach there is very linear, very solitary. You go read a self-help book, you try to figure it out on your own, right, which is slow and painful, and you're still stuck inside your own head.
The who approach is totally different. And this is where that exponential power really shows up. Instead of a book, you find a couple that's been happily married for 40 years. And you take them to dinner. You treat them like the experts they are.
Yes.
And you don't ask them for little tips. You ask the big question. Who did you have to become to make this work for 40 years? You're not asking for data. You're asking for their entire framework.
And that one conversation, leveraging their 4 decades of experience, that can save you 5 years of painful trial and error. You are literally buying back your own time by leveraging their life experience.
Okay, but let's circle back to that financial barrier.
Yeah.
I still think for a lot of people, that's the biggest hurdle. Capital is finite. How does someone listening who's on a tight budget decide which how tasks they should keep and which ones they absolutely have to find a who for?
This gets us to a really crucial point about prioritization. The real question isn't, can I afford to hire someone? It's, can I afford not to? And you prioritize that based on 2 things. The cost of failure and its proximity to your core genius.
Explain that model.
Okay, if the task is not part of your core genius, so it's a non-core task, and the cost of failure is high, things like your taxes or legal contracts, you must find a who. Even if you have to borrow money, the risk of you messing it up is just too high.
I see.
But if the task is non-core and the cost of failure is low, like, say, ordering office supplies, you can probably keep doing that yourself for a while to save cash. The rule is always delegate the high-stakes, non-core stuff first.
That makes the decision so much clearer. It really does. It stops you from wasting your genius on things that could sink you. And this brings us right back to the ultimate currency in this whole conversation. Your time.
Time is the one asset you can't get back. You can't make more of it. It's finite. The source material calls this the false economy.
Right. We fall into this trap where we think we're saving, what, $50 by trying to design a logo ourselves or fix a leaky pipe? We only see the money we're not spending.
But you're burning the most expensive currency you have, your life. You are trading irreplaceable hours that you could have spent with your family or on your core genius or just resting for a skill that gives you no long-term advantage. That $50 you saved probably cost you 5 hours of your life, which is almost always a terrible trade.
Exactly. When you factor in the opportunity cost, doing it yourself is often the most expensive choice you can make. It's like a slow leak in the bank account of your life.
This is why the most successful people are so ruthless about protecting their time. It's everything.
Okay, so for everyone listening who wants to stop that leak right now, let's make this an actionable challenge. Step 1 is simple. Identify your single biggest bottleneck at this moment. Is it doing your quarterly taxes? Is it editing your marketing videos? Maybe it's just that annoying leaky faucet that's been driving you crazy. Just pick one thing.
And here is the rule. You have to stop. Stop Googling how to fix. Stop watching the next tutorial. You have to stop trying to learn skills that are outside your core genius.
The sources even use the word forbidden. You are forbidden from trying to learn it yourself. Sounds intense.
It does, but it's meant to force a new pattern of thinking. It forces you to immediately start searching for a who. The action step is to find that person, that tool, that system that already has the 10,000 hours of mastery.
And let's be really clear about what a who can be. It's not just a person. If your bottleneck is taxes, The who could be a CPA, sure, or it could be TurboTax software. If it's video editing, it could be a freelancer on Upwork, or it could be a new AI editing tool.
If it's the leaky faucet, the who is a plumber.
Yeah.
And yeah, the plumber might cost $150. But you just bought back 3 hours of your life, you prevented water damage, which is a high cost of failure, and you spent those 3 hours doing something only you can do.
That's the rule to follow then. You are forbidden from learning the skill until you've exhausted every possibility of finding a who to do it for you. You have to leverage.
In short, you have to stop being the lone wolf. The lone wolf starves because it can only do what one wolf can do.
The pack survives. Go find your who.
Mm.
And that really is the paradigm shift we wanted to get into your heads today. It's moving from the struggle of asking how to the exponential growth of asking who. It's a complete reprogramming of how you approach problems.
And as you start applying this who strategy, you're mastering your time, which, as we said, is your most expensive asset. So for some further reflection, consider this. While time is the ultimate metric, the next key element for peak performance is actually energy management.
If time is the asset, then energy is the fuel. It's what lets you use that asset well. We'll dive into that next time. But for today, apply the who strategy to your biggest problem. Go reclaim your time. We'll see you soon.